stop for a moment and really pay attention, because this message feels like it is arriving while something has been quietly building in the silence. The first card coming through is the Four of Swords, and symbolically, this card speaks about stillness, distance, emotional rest, private thoughts, and someone lying low while their heart is anything but calm. This is not about loud action yet. This is about what has been happening beneath the surface, in the quiet spaces, when nobody else can see it. There is a younger adult connected to your energy, who has been holding back far more than they have been showing. They may appear calm. They may appear distracted. They may even act like they are not affected by you. But that silence is not empty. That silence is full of thoughts, questions, attraction, and feelings they have not known how to handle. And this is the part you may not expect. The age difference has made them pause. Not because the feeling is weak, but because the feeling feels too serious. They have wondered whether you would take them seriously. They have wondered whether people would judge the connection. They have wondered if stepping forward would make them look foolish, too intense, or too emotionally exposed. So, instead of moving quickly, they have been retreating into their own mind. They think about you when things get quiet. They replay small moments, a look, a message, something you said without realizing how deeply it landed. They may have tried to convince themselves that this was only admiration, only curiosity, only a passing attraction. But the more they rested from it, the louder it became inside them. This is not random. Your energy has become a place they return to mentally when their world feels noisy. There is something about your presence that feels calming but dangerous to their control. You carry a maturity they are drawn to, a softness they trust, a confidence they cannot stop noticing. The Four of Swords shows someone trying to recover, trying to think, trying to understand what their heart already knows. This younger person has been silent because they are preparing themselves. Something in them is waking up, and the longer they stay quiet, the more they realize they may not be able to hide this feeling much longer. And now, the next card coming through is the Page of Wands. And in this image, the Page of Wands is reversed, which says a lot, because this is not someone who has no desire to move. This is someone who has desire, curiosity, attraction, and impulse inside them, but they have not known how to direct it yet. This is nervous movement. This is wanting to reach out, then stopping, wanting to say something, then deleting it, wanting to make themselves obvious, then suddenly acting like they do not care at all. And that is where this younger person's energy has been. They are not emotionally still because they feel nothing. They are emotionally still because something about you makes them feel unsteady. You affect their confidence in a way they did not expect. Around other people, they may know how to flirt. They may know how to be playful. They may know how to keep things light. But with you, something becomes more serious. And that serious makes them pause. The Page of Wands carries a spark. It carries attraction. It carries the urge to explore what is pulling the heart forward. But reversed, that spark gets trapped inside. It becomes overthinking. It becomes hesitation. It becomes someone trying to act casual while their energy is anything but casual. This person has been watching you from a distance, but not in a shallow way. They have been trying to understand why you stand out to them, why your presence feels different, why your maturity does not intimidate them in the way they thought it would, but instead makes them want to rise, why your calmness makes them feel both safe and exposed, why something as simple as your tone, your silence, your attention, or even the way you pull back can stay in their mind longer than they want to admit. You may think they have been distracted, but they have been noticing. They notice the details. They notice when your energy changes. They notice when you seem guarded. They notice when you give warmth. And they also notice when that warmth is no longer as available. And every time they notice, it makes them question what they are really feeling. this silence has been self-protection, because deep down, they know that if they step toward you carelessly, you will feel it. You will sense the immaturity. You will sense the uncertainty. You will sense if they are only acting from impulse. And they do not want to come toward you in a way that makes you dismiss them. That is the part that feels important here. You have made this person question what they thought they wanted. You have made them look at the difference between chasing excitement and wanting something that actually means something. You have made them realize that attraction is easy, but being taken seriously by someone like you requires more. So they have been trying to gather themselves. The Four of Swords showed the retreat, the quiet, the mental space, the private thoughts. But the Page of Wands reversed shows what has been happening underneath that stillness. A spark has been growing, restless, uneasy, hard to control. And now that spark is starting to push against their silence. But when they finally begin to move, it may not look like a dramatic confession. It may come quietly, carefully, almost disguised as something simple. It may come through as a small check-in. A casual question. A message that looks simple on the surface, but carries something heavier underneath. And now the next card coming through is the Knight of Pentacles reversed. And this is very telling, because the Knight of Pentacles is usually slow, careful, measured, and steady. But reversed, that carefulness can turn into hesitation. It can turn into someone standing in one place for too long, not because they do not care, but because they are afraid that one wrong move could make everything fall apart. This younger person has been moving slowly because the age difference has become a mirror. It reflects back to them every insecurity they have not wanted to face. Am I mature enough? Would you see me as serious? Would you think I am only caught up in the excitement? Would you believe my feelings are real? Or would you assume this is something temporary because of my age? These are the kinds of questions that have been sitting in their mind, and that is why their energy has felt delayed. The delay is not empty. It is not careless. It is not because they are completely comfortable staying where they are. It is because part of them feels like they have to prove themselves before they even speak. The Knight of Pentacles reversed shows someone who wants to be reliable, but doubts whether they will be received that way. Someone who wants to come forward with something solid, but keeps questioning if they have enough to offer. Enough stability, enough maturity, enough emotional weight to stand beside you without feeling like they are reaching beyond their place. And you may not have done anything to make them feel small, but your energy carries experience. You have lived through things. You have learned things. You have a kind of restraint about you that they notice. You do not give yourself away to every impulse. You do not respond to every little spark as if it is enough. And this them look at themselves more honestly. They may compare themselves to people closer to your age, people who seem more established, more certain, more capable of matching your rhythm. And quietly, they wonder if you have already placed them in a category they cannot escape. Too young, too uncertain, too playful, too risky. But the truth is, they are not only drawn to how you look or how your energy feels. They are drawn to the way you carry yourself when you are not trying to impress anyone. The way you pause before you answer. The way you seem to understand more than you say. The way your calmness makes them feel like they have to meet you with something real. And that is where the fear becomes tender. Because this person does not just want your attention. They want your respect. They want to know that if they step forward, you will not laugh it off, brush it aside, or assume they could not possibly know what they feel. So they have stayed careful. Maybe too careful. But something has shifted recently. Something made them realize that being careful might not protect this connection anymore. It might actually cost them the chance to have it. And the card showing up now is the King of Pentacles. And this is interesting, Because after the Knight of Pentacles reversed, we now have the King of Pentacles upright. So the energy is moving from doubt into recognition, from wondering if they are enough, into realizing what they are actually trying to become. The King of Pentacles is steady, mature, grounded. Someone who does not just talk about value, but understands what value requires. Time, patience, consistency, presence. And this is what has shifted in them. Something about your energy recently may have changed. You may have pulled back a little. You may have stopped giving the same warmth. You may have become harder to read. Or maybe they saw that someone else could notice you too. Someone else could approach you. Someone else could receive the attention they were too afraid to ask for. And that did something to them. Because before, they may have believed they had time. Time to figure themselves out. Time to watch from the background. Time to let the feeling sit there quietly without having to risk anything. But now, there is this awareness coming in that time may not be as open as they thought. You may not wait. You may move forward. You may decide that their silence means nothing is there. And that possibility has been hitting them harder than they expected. The King of Pentacles here feels like someone looking at what matters and realizing they cannot keep treating it like a passing thought. They cannot keep acting like this connection is only in their head. Because the more they see your value, the more they understand that someone like you is not something they can keep casually admiring from a distance. And yes, there may be jealousy here. Not loud jealousy. Not the kind they would easily admit. More like a quiet tightening in the chest when they think someone else may have your focus. A discomfort when they realize they are not the only one who can see what they see. A sudden fear that while they were trying to become ready, somebody else may simply step in. And this is where admiration stops being enough. Because admiration can stay silent, attraction can hide. Curiosity can pretend it is harmless. But regret is different. Regret has weight. Regret makes someone look at their own hesitation and ask, "What am I actually doing?" This younger person is starting to understand that if they want to be taken seriously, they cannot only feel deeply. They have to show up differently. The fear is still there. But something stronger is beginning to rise beside it. The fear of missing their moment. The fear of watching you become unavailable. The fear of realizing too late that the very thing they were protecting themselves from was the thing they were supposed to step toward. And this is where their feelings stop being theoretical. This is where the thought of you starts demanding a real-world response. And the card coming through now is the Fool. And that makes sense, because the Fool is the moment before someone steps into something unknown. It is not the energy of having every answer. It is not the energy of perfect confidence. It is the energy of standing at the edge of what feels familiar and realizing the heart may already be leaning forward. This is where this younger person begins to understand that what they feel for you is not only attraction. Attraction can be exciting. Attraction can be impulsive. Attraction can appear quickly and disappear just as quickly. But this feels different because your energy has not only pulled them in. It has changed the way they see themselves. And that is why they have been unsettled. Because with you, they are not only thinking, "I want this person." They are thinking, "Who would I have to become to be close to this person in a real way?" That is a very different feeling. The Fool here speaks about innocence, risk, vulnerability, and the beginning of a path that cannot be fully controlled. And for this younger person, you represent both comfort and challenge. Comfort because something about you feels safe. There is a softness in your energy that makes them feel like they can breathe around you. Like they do not have to perform as much. Like they can be more honest than they usually are. But you are also a challenge, because they know they cannot come toward you with childish games. They know they cannot approach you with half-truths, inconsistent tension, or empty confidence, and expect you not to notice. Your presence asks for something more real from them, even if you have never said that out loud, and that is the part that keeps echoing inside them. You make them feel seen before they are ready to be seen. You make them aware of the gap between who they have been and who they want to be. Not because you are judging them, but because your energy naturally raises the standard. It makes them look at their impulses and ask if those impulses are enough. It makes them look at their attraction and ask if attraction is all this is, and the answer keeps coming back no. This is not only a crush. This is not only a fantasy. This is not only the thrill of wanting someone who feels slightly out of reach. There is emotional recognition here, a sense that you carry something they have been missing without knowing how to name it. Stability, depth, warmth, a kind of emotional truth that feels simple on the surface, but very powerful underneath. And the possibility of losing access to you has made that truth clearer. Because when they imagined you moving on, they did not just feel jealousy. They felt the weight of what they had not said. They felt the ache of being close enough to sense something real, but not brave enough to step into it. So now the fool is asking them to take the risk. Not recklessly, not blindly, but honestly. And you may have already felt this. You may have sensed the way their energy changes around you. But because their behavior has been so inconsistent, you may have misread the signs. You may have thought they were only being friendly one moment and distant the next. You may have wondered if you were imagining the tension, or if your intuition was picking up on something they were not ready to show. And now the next card coming through is the High Priestess reversed. And this is very clear, because the High Priestess is the card of what is felt but not spoken, what is known beneath the surface, what sits behind the eyes, behind the silence, behind the careful way someone hides what they do not want exposed. But reversed, this energy becomes harder to contain. It becomes confusion, mixed signals. A feeling that something is there, but every time you try to understand it, they pull the curtain closed again. And that is exactly what this younger person has been doing. They may come close, then suddenly create distance. They may give you warmth, then act like nothing happened. They may watch you carefully, then look away as soon as you notice. They may send a message that feels like it has another meaning underneath. But when you respond, they hide behind casual words. And this could have made you question yourself. Because there are moments where their energy feels obvious. Their attention lingers. Their tone changes. Their body language gives them away. They seem softer with you, more aware of you, more affected by your presence than they want to admit. Then suddenly, they pull back. Not because the feeling disappears, because the feeling becomes too visible. The High Priestess reversed shows someone whose inner world is leaking through, even when they are trying to keep it hidden. Their silence is not as controlled as they think it is. Their eyes may say too much. Their pauses may say too much. Even the way they pretend not to care may reveal more than they realize. This person may test the connection in small ways. A casual comment that is not really casual. A question that is really them trying to see if you are available. A little reaction to something you post. A moment where they show up around your energy and act like it is coincidence. But underneath that, they are listening for your response. They want to know if you feel it too. And because they are younger, because they already feel unsure about how seriously you would take them, they may not risk saying everything directly yet. Their seriousness does not make them more confident. It makes them more careful. But behind these mixed signals, something is forming. They are not just watching anymore. They are quietly planning a more direct move. And now the card coming through is the Moon reversed. And this feels important because the Moon is usually the place of uncertainty, hidden emotion, fear, illusion. Things felt in the dark before they can be understood in the light. But reversed, something begins to come up from underneath. Something that was hidden starts wanting to be seen. This younger person may not be ready to say everything all at once, but they are getting closer to saying something real. And with the moon reversed here, I feel like the way they come toward you may have a strange softness to it. Not overly bold, not perfectly planned. More like they finally reach a point where holding it in feels heavier than risking a response. So this could begin with a message. A simple one. Something like checking on you, asking how you have been, reacting to something you said, bringing up an old conversation, or creating a reason to speak when they do not really need a reason. On the surface, it may look casual, but underneath, there is emotion pressing against every word. They may try to make it seem light, but you will feel the difference. Their tone may be softer. Their timing may feel intentional. They may linger longer than usual. They may ask something that opens a door instead of closing one. And if there has been distance, they may try to explain it without fully admitting the real reason yet. Because what they want to say and what they feel safe saying are not the same thing. They may want to say, "I have been thinking about you," but what comes out is, "I saw this and thought of you." They may want to ask if you feel something too, but what comes out is, "Do you ever wonder why we connect the way we do?" They may want to tell you they have been scared. But what comes out first is a quiet attempt to get closer, to see if your energy still feels open. The moon reversed shows the fear losing some of its power. Not disappearing completely, but no longer controlling the whole story. This person has been moving through confusion, through doubt, through the fear of being misunderstood. And now, they are starting to realize that hiding behind mixed signals is only creating more confusion. So the move may be direct, but still careful. They may create privacy. They may wait until the moment feels safe. They may choose words slowly. They may watch your reaction closely because they are trying to understand whether they can keep going. And when this step happens, it will reveal more than attraction. It will reveal the part of them they have been afraid you would see. And the card coming through now is the Four of Cups. And this is a very quiet card. It does not shout. It does not rush. It does not chase. It sits with emotion that is right there, close enough to touch, but still difficult to receive. And symbolically, this shows exactly what this younger person has been hiding beneath all of that attraction. There is longing here, but there is also fear of being seen in that longing. This person may have tried to keep a certain image around you. Calm, unbothered, playful, maybe even a little detached at times. They may have wanted you to believe they were in control of themselves, that they were not affected too deeply, that they could handle the connection without exposing too much. But underneath that surface, they have been more vulnerable than they wanted you to know. The Four of Cups shows someone sitting with what they feel, but not fully reaching for it yet. Not because the offer is meaningless, not because the emotion is not there, but because receiving it would mean admitting how much they actually want it. And that is the uncomfortable part for them. Because with you, they are not only afraid of rejection, they are afraid of being known. They are afraid you will see the uncertainty behind their confidence, the nervousness behind their silence. The way they have placed you somewhere important in their mind without ever saying it out loud. They may be afraid you will sense that they do not feel as experienced as they try to appear, that they do not always know what to do with the intensity they feel. And this is why their approach may come with pauses. It may come with humor, with casual words, with a message that circles around the truth before getting anywhere near it. They may try to hide vulnerability behind something light, because saying something too direct would make them feel exposed. But you will feel what is underneath. You will feel the emotion behind the hesitation. You will feel that they are not only trying to get your attention, they are trying to see if there is a safe place to put what they have been carrying. And this is tender. Because the Four of Cups also shows someone who may not trust that what is being offered is truly available to them. They may wonder if your warmth is real, if your interest is real, if your patience is real, if they are reading too much into something because they want it so badly. So when they step forward, your response will matter. Not because you need to chase them, not because you need to fix their fear, but because the way you receive that first opening may determine whether they allow the truth to come out or whether they pull back into silence again. And now the card coming through is the Lovers reversed. And this is a powerful card to appear here, because the Lovers is not only about attraction, it is about choice, alignment, honesty. The moment where two people have to stop hiding behind possibility and begin asking what is actually real. But reversed, it shows the tension between desire and fear. It shows two energies that feel pulled toward each other, but not fully meeting in the open yet. One part reaches, another part hesitates. One part wants closeness. Another part worries about what that closeness would require. And this is where your energy matters. Because when this person comes toward you, you do not need to chase. You do not need to over-explain. You do not need to prove that you are safe, or convince them to be brave, or soften yourself so much that you end up carrying the whole conversation. Your power is not in forcing the truth out of them. Your power is in staying grounded enough for the truth to have room. That is different. The Lovers reversed shows that this connection cannot grow through guessing games forever. It cannot stay in silence, mixed signals, and emotional almosts. At some point, someone has to bring honesty into the space. And because this younger person is already nervous, because they already feel the weight of how you may see them, your calmness may be what helps them stop performing. Not your chasing, your calmness, the way you listen, the way you do not rush to fill every pause, the way you let them show you who they are without immediately deciding for them. That kind of steadiness is part of what drew them to you in the first place. But there is also something important here. Do not dismiss them too quickly just because they are younger, and also, do not ignore what maturity actually requires. Both things can be true. Their feelings may be real, and they still need to show consistency. Their attraction may be sincere, and they still need to approach you with respect. Their nervousness may be understandable, and they still need to meet you with honesty if they want access to your heart, your energy, or your trust. This is not about you lowering your standard. It is about seeing clearly. Because the Lovers reversed can show a connection that is felt deeply, but needs alignment before it can become something stable, and alignment is not created by intensity alone. It is created by truth, by actions, by the willingness to choose something instead of only wanting it from a distance. So when they come forward, pay attention to the tone. Pay attention to whether they are only testing the water, or whether they are finally trying to meet you more honestly. Pay attention to whether they can hold the conversation when it becomes real. Because your response can open the door, but their courage has to walk through it. And the final thing coming through is this: what they truly want from you may be more serious than they have allowed themselves to admit. And that is exactly why this connection has affected them so much. And now the card coming through is the Ten of Pentacles. And this is very strong, because the Ten of Pentacles is not the energy of something careless. It is not the energy of someone wanting a little attention, a little thrill, or a moment that disappears as quickly as it arrives. This card speaks about something that wants to have weight, something that wants to be recognized as real, something that asks, can this actually have a place in my life? And that is what this younger person truly wants from you. They want a chance, not a fantasy, not a secret they keep feeding from a distance, not an endless almost. They want a chance to be seen beyond their age, beyond the assumption that they are only curious, only impulsive, only drawn to what feels exciting because it feels slightly forbidden. They want you to see that their feelings have grown roots. And that may be what surprises even them, because this started quietly. It started with thoughts they could control, or at least thought they could control. It started with attraction, curiosity, watching, wondering. But somewhere along the way, this connection began touching something deeper in them. It made them think about stability, about loyalty, about what it would mean to actually show up for someone and not just want them. The Ten of Pentacles shows a person thinking beyond the moment. And for someone younger, that can feel intimidating. Because they may not know how to explain that they are serious without sounding like they are trying too hard. They may not know how to say, "I know there is an age difference, but I still want you to take me seriously." They may not know how to admit that your respect matters to them almost as much as your affection. But it does. Your respect matters. Your belief in them matters. The possibility that you could look at them and see someone capable of depth, consistency, and real feeling matters more than they have allowed themselves to say. So this is where the silence begins to change. The Four of Swords showed what was hidden. The Page of Wands showed the restless spark. The Knight of Pentacles reversed showed the fear of not being enough. The King of Pentacles showed the desire to become steady. And now the Ten of Pentacles shows what all of that has been leading toward. They do not just want to be noticed by you. They want to be considered. They want to know if there is a place where their energy could meet yours in a real way, and soon you may receive something that confirms this. A message, a sign, a moment where their tone changes. A conversation that starts small, but suddenly carries the truth of everything that has been building underneath. It may still come gently, but it will not feel empty, because this connection is entering a new phase now. The part that was hidden is becoming harder to hold back, and what has been growing in silence may finally be ready to step into the open.